Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the dark and lovely but beautiful confines of Langston, New Jersey on this wonderful Sunday evening. And wherever you may be, I hope that you're enjoying your night and that you're safe and sound and hopefully tucked away and enjoying it. And if you're coming home from work or going to, hopefully you make it through your night okay. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Episode 10 is currently in the works right now. It's uploading. Right now, this is more or less my draft recap. I wanted to go over a little bit of everything that kind of happened over the course of the 3 days of the draft and the weekend with some of the signings and waiver wire signings and my choice on the picks. So this video will be a little bit shorter than the last one, but nonetheless, we'll be going over some of the topics that pertain to the draft. I went over round one already, as I stated. As you forgive me, drawing blank a little bit because we've been burning, like literally burning midnight oil up late, with these picks and trying to stay up with the trades, and it's a lot of work. Anybody that tells you that it's not, they're bullshitting you. I let you know now. Be that as it may, though, we're going to start off at the top of round two. The Bills had traded into round two, and they had the 32nd pick. With that, they took wide receiver Keon Coleman out of Florida State. As you guys know, Florida State Seminoles is my favorite college football team. So I'm a little biased, but Keon Coleman was a beast. I mean, he was hands down one of the best receivers in college football last year. He easily, could have went anywhere, and he came to Florida State, and I thank God because we needed him. I mean, desperately. He left Michigan State via, transfer, the transfer portal, and went to Florida State, and good hands, solid, good receiver. Doesn't necessarily have the speed, and it was crazy, man, because I'm hearing guys all weekend just like shit on him about the speed, his speed's not there, his speed's not where it needs to be, and that's something I'm pretty sure he'll work on. I'm pretty sure the receivers coaches in Buffalo will work with him on it and do their best to get him right, but ultimately, yeah, I mean, he was never a fast guy, but can make the 50-50 ball catches, make contested catches. He's a playmaker. So shout out to Keon Coleman, bro. I hope everything works out for you. And you definitely catching the ball from Josh Allen would be definitely a good start to any wide receiver's career. Going forward, number 34, we have the Chargers with Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey was on everybody's draft board. I think everybody and their mother kind of wanted Ladd McConkey to be their wide receiver, especially a slot wide receiver. How fitting he goes to Jim Harbaugh. A guy that's seen him for years. I keep telling you guys, Jim Harbaugh is going to low-key load up on so much fucking talent. Before we blink, the Chargers will be winning 12 or 13 games and competing for the AFC. So, just a matter of time. But he's perfect for this team. Like I said, slot receiver. I really have no qualms or arguments with this. I think Chargers, you got a real good pick with this one. Falcons have picked Rook Orhoro, excuse me. I was going to say Odoro. It's been late, y'all. Orhoro. He's needed. Should be a quick impact for their defense. They need the young D linemen. So, for the Falcons, it's not a shocking move. Michael Penix was more of a shocking move than anything. People still buzzing about that shit. And shout out to everybody that reached out to me and the likes and the views on that. Because trust me, I'm still shaking my head on that one. Like, how the fuck did you grab? Why did you pay him $100 million? You paid one man $100 million and you drafted. I don't know. Anyway, nonetheless, number 37, and mind you, I'm going over. It's going to sound like I'm going over mostly every pick, but I'm only going over the picks that I know that was highlighted, guys I know that have researched and done some work on. Number 37 was Jalen Polk, wide receiver. I mean, this was obvious for the Patriots. They need wide receivers. This guy's not he's not a Ladd McConkey or Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors, anything like that, but he's good. And the Patriots, like I said, they need receivers, so it's not a shock. Devondre Sweat, went to the Titans. I mean, he looks the part, but we all know there's character questions, the drunk driving incident. I like the fact that he did, he didn't cancel his meeting, with the Titans the day after that happened. And, he held himself to atonement. He made sure that he was upfront and center about it. So ultimately, I can't really knock too much about it, but there's definitely character concerns there. If he hits, if he works out, he's going to be one of their best picks that they made in a long while. But, and they got a history of this, Danico Autry, Albert Hainsworth once in a while, before the money, Anyway, Rams grabbed Brandon Fisk, defensive tackle for Florida State, beast. I mean, the Rams, I made a joke with one of my close friends about the Rams over the draft over the weekend. Uh, like I said, Seminoles fan since I was 3, 4 years old. It's, the Rams were after my heart this weekend. You know, you grabbed Brandon Fisk. They grabbed one of my other boys I'm going to get to a little bit later. But, you know, just Florida State was definitely making a mark between the second and the sixth round. It was just, it's all you kept hearing a lot of times. Florida State. It was either Florida State or Oregon. Florida State or Oregon. So credit there, Brandon Fisk. And he went to a good team. He's going to get used. They need him. This one obviously is gonna put a smile on my face. The number 40 pick made by the Eagles, Cooper DeJean, and I don't know if some of y'all say DeJean, I say DeJean, DeJean like mustard, and that boy cut mustard, man. I like this pick. I think this low key could be a great pick for the Eagles. Where he plays is the question. Is he a nickel? Is he a safety? One of the things that knocks on him coming out was that he had tight hips, so him playing the outside is probably not, realistic, but who knows, with coaching and, a little bit of seasoning and being around vets and working on your game over the spring and summer, who knows. But I definitely love the pick by Philadelphia. We needed corners. I mean, obviously Quinion Mitchell was a first round pick, but, we needed corners. I cannot stress emphasis to this enough. Having said that, number 41 was the Saints with Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mean, my man Kool-Aid, he was going to make it. Either he was making late first round, the top of the second, and he was right literally top of the second. So Kool-Aid going to the Saints, they need him. I mean, their corner play was atrocious. I've covered that already in the previous episode. You guys know. This was a great move by the Saints. Another great move by the Texans. They keep racking up on young talent. Grabbed young cornerback Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. Could vie for Defensive Rookie of the Year if he plays really well. I mean, he has that type of capability. However, he will be tested because, excuse me, while at Georgia, you have a dominant defensive line and you got linebackers that can attack like that, you're not really going against Malik Neighbors every play or A.J. Brown or Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying? Like, not trying to be funny, but you're not really going up against those guys every play. He's going up against the best, yes. The SEC has some of the best NFL-made talent in, college football, but realistically speaking, he's going to be tested, and it's going to be interesting to see how he responds because Texans low-key need him. I just touched on that in the previous episode, how their defensive backfield, pass deflections, they were, very good. I think they had two pass defenders. I think it was Nelson and Stingley Jr. Nelson had 11, Stingley had 13 pass deflections. It was a solid year for them cornerback-wise, but they're going to have to make adjustments because obviously Steven Nelson's not there anymore, and Kamari Lassiter is younger, so it's going to have to step up, but we'll see. Max Melton, cornerback from Rutgers, went to the Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon guy, tough, physical, brash, in your face, a little braggadocious. Though I will admit, lacks a little bit of size sometimes in coverage against a bigger receiver. If he gets coached up right by Gannon, he'll be a good player, be a very good player. Jackson Powers Johnson, center, went to the Raiders. Not a shock there. They needed linemen. One of my other low-key favorite picks in the second round, number 45, Packers, Edgerrin Cooper. I need not to say this, but I said this in the previous episode. But for those of you that may not see the episode, that see this one first, however it works, Edgerrin Cooper was the best linebacker in the draft. Okay, best linebacker in the draft. He went from being the best linebacker in the draft to hopefully hoping to find a good team to go to being the best linebacker in the draft and going to a franchise that is known for linebackers, known for linebacker play, and he's going to get burned. And there's a great chance he's going to be a starter from day one. Great move by the Packers. And he's always around the ball, playmaker, and he's tenacious. So shout out and credit to Brian Gutekunst for that because, great pick. Jonathan Brooks, number 4, running back for the Texas Longhorns, went to the Panthers. They needed a running back. I'm not going to sit here and, try to be too funny when I say this, but I think it's very clear and evident that after they paid Miles Sanders, they realized he is not the answer. He's clearly not the guy they thought he was going to be. So, no shame there. You get him at your fault. It's cheaper anyway. Get Jonathan Brooks. Bigger, more agile. Help Bryce Young a little bit more. One of the things that, he hits the hole quickly, very aggressive runner, second level runner. Once he's second level, he could damn near take it to the house. weak in pass protection though, which is, I don't know if that helps Bryce Young too much, but he needs playmakers, so better something than nothing. Giants, number 47, grabbed a low-key good one there. Tyler Nubin, safety out of Minnesota. This kid got a lot of interceptions. I mean, he made a lot of plays, physical guy, hitter. The only issue that I saw on tape myself, some of the analysts, some of the pundits, they're quick to try to point these things out, but I wanted to make sure that I looked at it with my own eyes. And all these guys, please understand, guys, whenever you watch this, I'm giving you my analysis on the tape and the film that I've watched on these guys. I'm not going to regurgitate something to you that you've heard on the Alphabet Networks or something that you've heard secondhand from somebody else. Anything you're hearing from me is my actual opinion and my take. Something I actually take time and sit down and watch these guys, watch good reps, watch bad reps, watch good games, watch bad games, learn tendencies, and then just give us a quick synopsis from there. And ultimately, Tyler Nubin, every play that I watched, he was around the ball, making plays, playmaker. So if you're the Giants, you're definitely happy because that's something with Xavier McKinney leaving, you're lacking that, and you've needed something like that, an element of that on your defense for a while now. And the only problem that I really saw with him is can't really shed blocks on big tackles or big tight ends. That's going to be an issue because, in the NFC East, it's big tight ends, big tackles. In the NFC period, hell, the NFL is big tight ends and big tackles. So interested to see how that works. Maybe some coaching can help him with that, but definitely a good pick nonetheless. I don't want to knock it. Tyler Nubin was a good pick for the Giants. Let's see as we go further. Most notable, Bengals, number 49, Chris Jenkins Jr. I mean, Bloodlines ran deep in this draft. We'll touch on that a little bit further too. But Bloodlines definitely ran deep in this draft. I mean, if you just watched Chris Jenkins tape and you didn't know anything about him, something I found out over the course of this weekend, Chris Jenkins' nickname while at Michigan was called the Mutant. And yes, I'll say that again, the Mutant. So I was like, okay, what does that mean? I'm just going to read it off to you, very simply put. Speed, quickness, and tenacity. He's going to definitely have to work on his lower body, but everything that I saw, aggressive run stopper. If he's there, he could shoot. If he's there, he's shooting the gap. I mean, this guy, there was barely a play that I saw that he wasn't contributing in some way, shape, or form to the stop. Whether that be the quarterback or the running back in the backfield. So, just another reason why Michigan's defense was so dominant last year, and having a guy like that as a nose tackle. I mean, Bengals got a good one. You lose DJ Reader, that might be the guy that replaces him. Following that up was Chris Jenkins Jr.'s teammate from Michigan, Mike Sainristil, going to the Commanders. Sainristil, I like. He's physical, playmaker, physical hitter. But the only thing that I kind of noticed while watching his tape, his recovery skills are lacking. There's definitely a lot there to be desired. A lot of things that need to be worked on to get him, because recovery skills can be taught. That's some things, if you work towards that, you can get it. However, he played on one of the best defenses in college football history, and he got away with that. I'm not sure. I mean, Dan Quinn's defense, so maybe, he's going to definitely have an area because he's a rookie. I expect that, but I'm not sure that problem necessarily goes away this season, if you're following me, because recovery skills, that's something that has to be taught. Muscle memory, learned, regurgitated, rinse, wash, rinse, repeat over and over and over again. And he's had success doing what he's doing, so I doubt that he's going to be able to change it like that, Going further down to number 52, the Colts pick. I sometimes I get this guy's name, I butcher it. Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver from Texas. Big playability. Quick feet, strong hands. He was definitely a guy that didn't mind catching it through traffic. The only issue that I have was he was a cradle catcher, and when you're a cradle catcher and you need to be more aggressive, that's a little worrisome. However, though, the big playability is there, and I think the capabilities for him to be a big time threat with Anthony Richardson is definitely there. Having said all that, Going further down, we get to number 56, Dallas Cowboys, Marshawn Nealon. Guy that has boomer bust potential. Quick, agile, physical. Definitely can shed blocks. Needs to be better in his own run game. In his own run schemes, he gets chewed up. I noticed that he got chewed up very, very badly in his own run game. It's just little things that you're going to have to work on and fix when you're an NFL athlete. There's no way in the world you're going to start and you're leaving gaping holes for these running backs in this day and age, especially when you're in a division with a Saquon Barkley or, you know, some of the other plethora of running backs, Gibson, not Gibson, excuse me, Robinson, Brian Robinson. It's just guys where, they can hit the hole and take it to the house right away. You don't want to leave them gaping holes. So, be that as it may, though, he looks good. He looks like a guy that fits their systems, will fit their scheme, fit their program. I mean, anyway, Mike Zimmer's only got 1 year, so it's really all indicative of how they play. If Mike Zimmer's even back, let alone if Mike McCarthy's even back. So, pardon me, can never have the dry lips. It's a never. Double negative. Outside of that, you had Chris Braswell, edge rusher from Alabama. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Instinctive against the run. I saw that on every piece of film that I saw from him when it came to the running game. He was very instinctive. He knew how to hit the hole, navigate through, and get to the runner. He was born to be a blitzer. It's second nature to him. I saw that he played special teams as well at Alabama. With that being said, though, he definitely needs to get stronger in coverage because he was his anchor, his lower body. When you ever hear me say anchor, I'm talking about lower body core strength. His anchor was so bad in some situations where he just got mauled. He just disappeared completely out the play, completely out the scene. So it's definitely something he's going to have to work on. And at number 58, the Packers making another big splash, another big play for a safety, a defensive player. They grabbed Javon Bullard from Georgia, safety, hitter, plays good coverage. He could be an in-the-box tackler. So in Jeff Hafley's defense, he could definitely play that hybrid position, coming up and moving. Coverage against the deep threats, though, in the NFL may be an issue because I noticed in college, whenever he had to defend wide, patches of grass or a lot of space and it's just between him and the guy, he typically lost those matchups. So something to keep an eye on, something to look out for. But he's definitely going to have to make adjustments in the NFL because that's something that could get him, tore up. Number 61, Ennis Rakestraw for the Detroit Lions. The Lions needed corners. I mean, I beat the dead horse if I keep going on that subject. They needed it. Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw, they needed it. So Rakestraw, decent cover skills, physical but very handsy, which is going to lead to him getting penalized a lot in the NFL. Very handsy, and leave it out right here. I'm sorry, my own handwriting was a little off. And he dealt with a shitload of injuries. While at in college. I believe it was Missouri, but nonetheless, he's going to have to play at a high level and justify the pick for the Lions. And I think he has a chance to, but when you have injuries like this coming in and you're a high second round pick, and it just makes me a little worrisome because you play college ball, you haven't even played a 17 game season, let alone made a playoff game yet or played a. So yeah, something just to consider. Going further, you had 62 the Ravens with Roger Rosengarten, offensive tackle, replacing Morgan Moses, solid pick. The Chiefs always replenishing their offensive line, realizing it was a need that they needed. They drafted Kingsley Suamataia, another good pickup, no arguments there. Renardo Green, the best, and I repeat, the best cover corner at Florida State University, went to the 49ers. Strong tackler, good cover skills. They'll find it out. I think that another thing is his pass deflections. One thing he's real big on is pass deflections. Renardo Green, I think, led our team in pass deflections past 2 years. And the only issue two issues, I don't know why one, it's two. The two issues that I have for him is very handsy, can grab, and gets beat on that fade route very, very easily, which is kind of shocking. You wouldn't think he would, but some guys got weaknesses somewhere. His is the fade route. Going a bit further, we got Malachi Corley, who was the next pick at number 65 to the Jets. Strong, physical, killed in the screen game. I mean, this guy looks like a poor man's Debo Samuel. Just like a better words. It's really what he looks like. Poor man's Debo. So, if he's healthy and he doesn't get his body beat up as badly, yeah, he has a chance. He definitely could make it because the Jets need him. Alan Lazard. I know everybody's like holding out hope because Aaron's back. They need a replacement. Corey Davis left because he realized there was a bunch of damn favoritism going on. He talked that retirement shit, but y'all read between the lines. Aaron comes, they go to practice, some shit said, he retires. And then all of a sudden, a year later, he's back. That place is such a shit show. But anyway, number 66, you have the Cardinals, picking up my man from Florida State, Trey Benson, running back. This I kind of suspected because, when I was doing my analysis on the Cardinals, preparing for the draft, doing my 32 teams in 13 days segment, one of the things that I kind of felt they were going to address was running back. James Conner's 28 years old. He had another 1,000-yard season. He didn't have that many touches. However, we all know the closer a running back is at 30, and when they're highly productive, they've been 1,000-yard runners, the tail off's happening. It's not rocket science. We've seen it. Guy could have 1,400 yards one year, and then the next year he's got 900. Could be injuries, could be inconsistency, could be in his head. Who knows? But anyway, back to Trey Benson. Like I said, strong physical runner, good vision, definitely breaks tackles. Only issue I had with him when I watched him, especially in college, was he hesitated sometimes getting to the hole instead of just attacking. He would kind of, that shimmy, shake, and jive shit only works when you got alleys open up in front of you. You guys just scoop past the guy. When there's 5 guys in a lane and there's 2 more guys, setting the edge, probably might have to just take what you can get and get the hell down. But great pick. Like I said, Trey Benson, the Cardinals will love him. Cardinals low-key having a good draft. You got Maserati Marv. You know what I mean? You sat here, you grabbed Trey Benson. And, yeah. I mean, I come to think of it, I'm trying to think, was there any other pick in between? Oh, Max Melton, of course. I mean, these are all Jonathan Gannon guys. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine. So this is dope. One of the other selections I wanted to highlight, something that stuck out to me, number 69, the Chargers linebacker Junior Colson from Michigan. What a shot. I just wanted to entertain y'all with that one. What were the chances Jim Harbaugh would draft his middle linebacker that he had in college to man his defense in the NFL? Oh, man, it gets better and better. Okay, all right. Now we got next, number 70, the Giants, Andrew Phillips, corner from Kentucky. Strong corner, efficient tackler. Another guy is handsy, struggles with bigger receivers, and it's definitely going to be a problem as he gets older, but not being handsy, not committing those pass interference penalties, that's something that a lot of DBs pride themselves on. It's a major stat. It's something that, scouts consider going to the NFL. When Quinyon Mitchell got drafted Thursday night, it was a stat that they brought up pertaining to that. And so it matters. Just keep that in your mind. It matters. But he's going to have to work on that if he wants to get better. Going forward, number 72, Trevor Wallace, linebacker from Kentucky. Explosive, quick, aggressive tackler. Let's see. Weak against the run and play action, which a little bit kind of weird, but, nonetheless, you got Cooper Beebe that went to the Cowboys. A lot of people kind of tease and ridicule the Cowboys because of this move. I knew what the Cowboys are doing. They don't have any fucking money, y'all. They can't go out and acquire a shitload of free agents. And even at this point right now, would it be smart for you to spend money on 32 and 33-year-old offensive and defensive linemen? Fuck no. Rebuild with your draft, retool. This year, you're just going to have to figure out what you got. See what you got. See if Dak can pull a rabbit out of his ass. See if Mike McCarthy can do something he hasn't done since Aaron Rodgers left him. All of that. Going in further, we got Jermaine Burton. I like this pick. Jermaine Burton, number 80 to the Bengals. Now, Jermaine Burton has been the most consistent Alabama receiver and I'm thinking now, wait, hold on. Jermaine Burton, think about this, y'all. He played for Alabama. He had, a little malcontent attitude issues there. Things didn't work out. He wound up trying to figure it out, and, he had to work his way to it. Nick Saban, you know how he is. And he earned his way onto the field, and he was a beast. probably T. Higgins' replacement, realistically speaking, looking at their games. Good hands, good on locating the ball, especially deep balls. Route running needs work, definitely needs work. He's very choppy coming out of his break. Sometimes he's very inconsistent. The ball could be placed properly, but because he ran too wide of a route or too tight of a route, the ball doesn't go where it needs to be. So that's something that needs to be worked on. And basically now we got at number 83 running back Blake Corum, hard physical runner, breaks tackles, great short yardage. It's kind of weird though because he's one of those guys where he beats you by volume instead of power. You know, the more and more you see of him, and you know the different variations, whether it's him running up the gut or off tackle or you know pass pro and faking a handoff like he's gonna run it, whatever it is. All I know is this much: when it comes down to it, Blake Corum is one of the best running backs in college football. He has earned this. He deserves this. And kudos to him. Kudos to him. Going to the Rams, he's going to get burned. He's going to get play. Him and Kyron Williams should definitely be a nice combination, a nice, backfield, for Matt Stafford, who is also asking for more money with the elbow that's weaker than parchment paper. Rams, you pulled it off when you said fuck them pigs. You pulled it off. You pulled it off, Les Snead. You pulled it off, Sean McVay. That is a magic trick you can't pull off. Don't give him that money. We'll touch on that in a later episode. But anyway, Zach Zinter, guard from Michigan, went to the Browns. They needed him immediately. We all know. Anybody who knows me knows I watched the spring practices. Not spring. Damn, I keep saying spring because the spring's on. I watched the summer practices, scrimmages during the preseason between the Eagles and the Browns. And Jalen Carter was just having his way with Petonio and having his way with the guards. And I kind of knew then, like, oh, okay, their guard play's falling off. And then seeing it throughout the season, it was like, yeah, it's falling off. It's falling off. So, just one of them things where it's going to be crucial to see how the Browns use Zach Zinter. Like I said, if he starts right away, I think he's a day one starter. And besides, they need him. They need new blood in that building. Number 88, we're going forward with the Packers, who I think took the best running back in the draft, in Marshawn Lloyd. Pass-catching running back, good vision. Ran behind a suspect offensive line in USC, so it was a lot of running off the left side. Didn't really have to get too creative. And then when he actually got out, and started being utilized in different packages and started incurring more injuries. Good pass-catching running back, too. I mean, just, again, this is something, again, that Green Bay consistently finds. No one gives them credit. No one really pays attention and acknowledges it, but it's what it is. They find running backs, they find linebackers, they find defensive linemen, and last but not least, they find wide receivers. So, shout out to him again, Marshawn Lloyd. So, you have the Brandon Jacobs replacement just in case this guy goes in there and shits the bed. So, having said all that, we go a little bit further. At number 92, we got the Bucks with Jalen McMillan, wide receiver. And it's kind of weird because he's definitely going to be a slot receiver, but looking at his game, he's shifty, great hands. These are all things that you want to see in a wide receiver. Having said that, though, looking at his game, he wasn't going up against the best competition while at Washington. And even when opportunities were favorable, he didn't necessarily win them. So I always have a little cause for pause because if it's rigged to you, and even if it's not rigged to you individually, if it's rigged in your favor and you still can't win, I digress. Anyway, going a bit further, we have number 93 with the Ravens, Adisa Isaac. And this guy just plays the edge well. It's amazing because I sat here and I think about a lot of the edge rushers that went out in this draft, and Adisa Isaac was one of those guys where it was like, he could possibly make it. He could, go higher. Didn't think he was going to slip as far as he did, but great pick by the Ravens. He's just another guy that he fits that mold. He fits, I'm a Raven, play like a Raven. He fits that. So, right underneath him was probably the most intriguing pick of the third round for me of all the third round, out of all those picks. And obviously, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm going to say this. Jalix Hunt. I need y'all to know it took me a day and a half to find footage on this man. I wasn't disappointed when I found it. Thank God for YouTube and thank God for people being able to share things and just look at certain things up. Um, when you really realize that they spent a third round pick on a defensive lineman who was a former safety in an Ivy League school, played 17 games or 12 to 17, ain't really get that burn like he was supposed to, and now all of a sudden you over here, in the Southeastern Conference, trying to make it work, just trying to get on any way possible. You become defensive player of the year or second best player in defense, and 87 tackles, 11 and a half sacks. I was impressed. And then for Vic Fangio, for him to say, yeah, Vic Fangio talked to me personally, and everybody within the circle knew Vic Fangio really wanted this guy. It's amazing. It's amazing to see. Like I said, a lot of things fell the Eagles' way this weekend. And I won't be one of those people that get on here and bullshit you and say every draft pick's going to work. Half these guys are going to fucking suck. Law of averages. If you got 7 draft picks, typically 1 to 2 work. So that's why you're always drafting each year. But, like I said, it's going to be interesting. He was definitely a speed freak, speed demon coming off the edge. He's going to definitely need lower body work. He's 2 and some change, I think 235 now. I'll have to kick that up a little bit. But last but not least, the one that was near and dear to my heart, Luke McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey went to the Commanders, and I knew he played that right, so I'm like, he come from that bloodline. He got it. Let me tell you. Good hands. Literally, I if I could talk to him in person, I would tell him it's like you have a dining room table and you're just being served a 4 or 5 course meal right in the middle of the field. He just feasts on the middle of the field. I mean, so many highlights I saw where he's like, and they're just just like completely oblivious. It's crazy. It's crazy as hell. And nonetheless, like, he makes tough physical catches. I love that from Luke McCaffrey. I think he, bombed for that shit. And physical. His dad was physical. His brother's physical. So it runs in the blood. And I feel like he could definitely be a gadget play type guy. Quick reverses, the quick in and outs, things like that. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to leave. I'm not even saying speak on that level. I'm saying literally he has that type of game where he can trick the shit out of you where halfback option, lateral, criminal. It's criminal. Like, that's what I'm trying to insist and infer. Like, it's just it's sneaky how they use them. It's very good. And that'll be it for rounds 2 and 3. You'll see another video shortly recapping the draft rounds 4 through 7. I want to thank you guys as always for just participating and watching and taking time out of your day. As always, like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Peace. Take care and enjoy your night.